Hey guys, welcome back. I'm John Browne, and I'm going to be trying to do a video every single Monday. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, subscribe now so that you don't miss out on the video content in future. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about my guitar collection, all the way from the beginning when I started playing guitar, all the way through to my current collection. It gives you an insight into what guitars I've played, and also the level of guitars that I've played from the beginning till now. So first things first, let's start with the first guitar I was ever bought, and that was a Westfield Strat that cost my parents £99, and it was a present for my 14th birthday, so the year 2000. And honestly, it was a truly terrible guitar, but I did learn a lot of cool songs out of this, and it was the beginning of what is me now, basically. So I'm very thankful for my parents for getting me this for my birthday. Next up is that I traded this guitar for a Squier Strat, which I thought at the time was infinitely better, and how wrong could I have been? And I got it in white because I really wanted to be Jimi Hendrix at the time. That was my second guitar, so what would normally be people's first guitar was my second. So if you're feeling unlucky, just remember that I was also unlucky. So next up, I was bought a second-hand Charvette guitar. Now, Charvette was a lower costing Charvel guitar, so basically the Squier of Charvel. This guitar was cool as fuck. It had a reverse headstock, so it looked metal as hell, and it was in a worn white that had almost turned yellow, showing that it had been, you know, used out and about for quite a while. I actually stripped this guitar down and got my friend from school to paint something along the lines of what Jackson do in their custom shop, and there's a picture of it here, which I don't have a picture of it when it was white, but I have a picture of it with the graphic on. Fortunately, this guitar has been lost to time, and I have absolutely no idea where it's gone. So then I got what I consider my first proper guitar, and I'd been playing guitar for a few years at this point and having guitar lessons, and it was a Yamaha RGX420S in black. And I really, really liked this guitar. And at the time, I actually picked it over an Ibanez, the RG470, as I thought it sounded better. And I bought this from Machine Head Music in Hitchin, which is unfortunately no longer around. But this guitar was great. It had a kill switch on it, you know, Floyd Rose bridge, which is something that I always wanted when I was trying to shred and play loads of notes and had no concept of what rhythm was. I eventually ended up stripping this guitar down as well to the bare wood because the matte finish just went shiny in places and kind of looked rotten to me. So after getting the Yamaha, I first heard of Dream Theater, and I really wanted to play their song A Change of Seasons. So I got my first 7-string. This 7-string was an Ibanez RG7420 in Magenta Crush. Now, the pictures weren't really good of this guitar on the internet at the time, and Magenta Crush is actually pink. So I got my first 7-string. I bought it from America, got it stupidly cheap. And I learned A Change of Seasons, but didn't really get on with a 7-string at the time, so I sold it less than 2 months after I got it. But this was my introduction to 7-strings, and it carved a way for me to like 7-strings in the future, I guess. At the time, I didn't like it because it hurt my wrist to play with the extra string, which I'm sure some of you have also felt with changing from 6 to 7. So the next guitar that I got was quite a few years later, was a Schecter C1 Classic. I really missed this guitar, actually. So it was a through-neck construction guitar. It had a wacky inlay over the whole fretboard, Seymour Duncan pickups, and it was awesome. And I actually used this in Fell Silent for the beginning, when Fell Silent were playing 6 strings tuned down to B flat. The next guitar that I got, I actually bought from a friend, Phil. Known Phil for a long time. He actually played bass in Tesseract right at the beginning. And I bought an Ibanez 7620. So next up, I got my Schecter C7 Blackjack. I had this in the early days of Fell Silent, probably around 2005. And I got this as a secondary guitar to my Ibanez 7620. Really cool guitar. I ended up selling it to Sam, who was in the Eyes of a Traitor, and also another band that I can't remember the name of right now, but he ended up losing it. The weirdest thing is I found it on eBay, some guy that had stolen it from a gig. And I don't know if he ever got it back, but yeah, I really, really enjoyed this guitar and sold it basically just to fund something else. So next up, I got my first ever, what I would consider the guitar. In fact, this guitar was used on the Fell Silent record, the first 2 Monuments records, and it was my Ibanez RG227XL, 27-inch baritone electric guitar 7-string. And I had this guitar for years. I bought it in 2007 and it cost me 400 euros. I got it stupidly cheap because there was a problem with the bridge, which cost me £20 to fix. I absolutely love this guitar and I'm really gutted that I sold it. If you've ever seen Monuments pre me with Mayones, then you've seen this guitar. Next guitar I bought was a very, very rare Ibanez RG2127X, which was the Japanese only model of the 2027X. And it featured a double-edged bridge, so it had the piezo pickup in it, as well as the dual humbuckers. And I eventually, unfortunately, sold this to James, ex-Cradle of Filth, who I believe still has it. James, I want it back. This guitar I used on a couple of tours, mainly the 2008 Enter Shikari tour, as a secondary guitar for the A-flat tuning that I use. So then eventually I got endorsed to Ibanez, and I got to pick 2 guitars from their collection, and from this I picked up an RGA427Z, which I believe was meant to be Chris Broderick's model, but then he jumped ship when they completely finished the guitar and started production. So they renamed the guitar, and this was it. And it was in a cool purple finish, it had a mahogany body, a flame maple top, and it was a really cool guitar. But I've always had problems with 25.5-inch scale guitars with the tuning that I use, so I ended up eventually getting rid of that one as well. At the same time, I also got my first proper 8-string that I didn't have to borrow off someone else, and that was an Ibanez RG2228A, which was the passive version of their first proper 8-string. And I used this for the first 2 albums of Monuments as well, so if you've seen Monuments, then you would have seen that guitar as well. So as I said, I sold the RGA427Z for another guitar. I ended up trading it for a very, very rare Ibanez RG7620 Limited 1 in purple. This guitar is so rare, there's only 24 of them in existence in the entire world, and I think maybe only 12 in this color. This guitar was the prototype for the 1077XL and the 277XL guitars of Ibanez, and they're extremely rare. Has glow-in-the-dark markers and the original low-pro edge bridge. And I feel a bit foolish that I sold this guitar, but for some reason I always preferred my 277XL. I got my sugar to sign the headstock and eventually sold it on, but I do miss this guitar quite a lot. The next guitar that I got from Ibanez was a 6-string, and it was a 6-string premium, and it was an Ibanez RG920QMZ in cobalt blue with a maple fretboard. Really, really enjoyed this guitar as well, but at this time I was falling out of love with the Floyd Rose style of tremolo, as I find it just too much of a pain in the ass to deal with changing the multiple tunings. And it seems pointless to own that bridge if you're just going to block it anyway. Sold that to a friend who still has it, I believe, and yeah, very, very cool guitar for the money. So the next guitar I got was probably the deal of the millennium, and I picked up a PRS SE Custom Soapbar in the green blue finish. You've probably seen me playing this guitar in a few videos, and I still have it. But I picked it up for 50 quid and got a free 6-way stand that is worth more than 100 quid. So I picked up an insane deal with this guitar, and I really still enjoy playing this guitar. It sounds amazing. P90s. So P90 pickups are probably the closest you're ever going to get to God. So if you've never tried one, then I recommend that you try one immediately. Now, if there's any company out there that wants to make me a noiseless 7-string P90, then please do. Because they are the best sounding pickups in the world, in my opinion. So next up, I got sent a guitar by a company called Aristides, and it was their 070 in Dutch Orange. And I really, really liked this guitar, but to me, it was a little bit different than a normal guitar in the fact that there's no wood on it, apart from the ebony fretboard on my particular one. And you know, I had this guitar for a few years and really enjoyed it, but unfortunately, sometimes the rent just has to be paid. So unfortunately, I sold that to pay my rent, and I'm a little bit disappointed by that. So the next guitars that I got were from Mayones, which is now the company that I've been endorsed by the longest. And the first guitar that I got from them was a Duvell Elite model 7-string with EMG pickups in it. And I got them eventually to switch them out for the Seymour Duncan, Nazgul, and Sentient, as I preferred them in that guitar. But that was my introduction to Mayones. So next up, I got my Regiuses, 2 of them. I got a 7-string Regius and an 8-string Regius, both with an ash body. One with an inverted purple color, purple to natural, and then the 8-string is, I guess, trans jeans blue. And I still have these guitars today, and I really, really enjoy them. Next guitars that I got were from a company called FGN. Now, they're a Japanese company that actually make all the Ibanez electric guitars in their factory, the Japanese ones anyway. And I got their ELAN Dark Evolution 6-string and 7-string, both with mahogany bodies. But again, I didn't get on with the 7-string because it was a 25.5-inch scale guitar and it just doesn't work for me. So I eventually ended up selling these two as well because the Mayones was just infinitely better. All right, let me show you the guitars that I currently have out of their cases and the ones that I use on the regular. So for the first guitar, I'm going to show you this one. This is my Mayones Duvell Qatsi signature model, and this one is in the Juice Burst. This one's a little bit special though. As you notice, it's got two knobs here. One's actually missing the knob. It's somewhere in this room and I haven't put it back on. But this one has the piezo bridge. So this is for that crystal clean guitar sound that I really, really love. This one's a 7-string, and it has, apart from the piezo, it's completely standard as the rest of the Qatsis. Okay guys, so this one is my second Qatsi model. This is actually prototype number 1 of the Qatsi range. This is the first guitar that Mayones sent me from, basically from the initial idea, and they got it 100% right. So I've actually used this on tour quite a lot. As you can see, it's been pretty battered thanks to the TSA taking guitars out of cases and not putting them back in properly. But yeah, this is pretty much a standard Qatsi model. This is what you get if you buy the Qatsi. And this one is my new baby. This one is the Duvell, Mayones Duvell Q series in Winter Heather. Completely standard. This again is prototype number 1. And as usual, Mayones got it completely 100% right. It feels amazing. It sounds great. And I've only had this one a few weeks, but it's become a new favorite of mine. So this one is my 8-string Regius. I got this in 2014 or 15. And this has been my number 1 live and recording 8-string guitar. I believe it has a cold sweat in the bridge. I'm not too sure what the neck is. Hip shot bridge, through neck construction. And this one is also one that I use on tour. So this one's been banged up pretty badly by the TSA as well. But it still plays great, it sounds great, and I really, really love this guitar. All right, so let's move on to the bass that I used to record with. This is codenamed the Hulk, as it says here. And it's a fan fret Patriot 5-string bass. Top is flame maple, purple. Back is stained in green. I'm not too sure what the back bodywood is. I would guess probably mahogany, maybe ash. Can't really tell, can't see the grain through the green. It has a Wenge and Babinga 5-piece neck, Bartolini pickups, and a huge selection of controls here to control the different sounds. A really, really cool sounding bass. I really, really like how this bass sounds a lot. It's really comfortable to play. And yeah, it's hulky. And this is my Mayones Duvell Elite 6-string. It's a little bit special actually because this was the first one they did as an Elite model with the flame maple top. Beforehand, it was iPoplar only, but they had this body that they were trying, basically this Star Wars, they call it Star flame maple finish, and they were like, yeah, would you like it? And I obviously loved how it looked. It's got a mahogany body, Wenge Babinga neck, flame maple top, and it has the Seymour Duncan P90 rail pickups in it, which means you can select between humbuckers, P90s, or single core modes with these 2 little toggle switches here, which are 3-way toggle switches, as well as the 3-way switch to go between the pickups. Again, it's missing the volume knob because I can't be bothered to put it back on. Really, really love this guitar. It's been used for pretty much all my 6-string songs on Qatsi and on Yamaha. And now we're going to go with the anomaly guitars that aren't Mayones. This one actually belongs to Mr. Ollie Steele. This one is a Partsocaster. So it has a Fender body, a warm-off neck, which is bird's eye maple neck, and a bird's eye maple fingerboard with a reverse Fender headstock, Wilkinson bridge, and it has the EMG Gilmore set in it. It needs a little bit of work, but it plays and sounds really cool. And it's really good for those kind of Pink Floyd-ish Strat tones. So yeah, even more cool if you're just playing clean guitar and want that single core kind of sound. And last but not least is this Squier Strat, which was gifted to me from my girlfriend's sister. It'd been in her house for an unbelievable amount of time not being played, so it was given to me. It's actually in really good condition as well. So this is a desired early 2000s Squier Strat. It's not quite a silver series, but it's made in a factory that was desired, so I've decided to keep hold of it, and it sounds really good. I mean, the fret edges feel like that it could cut through, you know, your skin really, really easily, but the neck's really fat, so you have to really try hard to play it well. And, you know, sometimes it's good to do that. For those Strat style sounds, again, it sounds really wicked. It's a good guitar. No, it's not a terrible guitar at all. I enjoy playing it anyway. I'm really interested in your guitar history as well. So if you want to list your guitars that you've had in the past and what you currently have in the comments, then please do. If there's any videos that you'd like me to do on reviews of gear, if there's anything new that's come out that you'd like me to try out, then please list it in the comments as well, and I'll try and see what I can do. If there's any gear in my studio that you want to see, then also please let me know. I plan on doing another video showing the amps that I currently have and the ones that I've had previously. So keep an eye out for that video, and as I said at the beginning of this video, I'll be posting out videos every single Monday. So subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time.